Hi, Assalamu alaikum. How are you everyone? Hopefully everyone is having fun in his or her life. Let's have a little fun in learning too. Is it better to have many friends or just a few close friends? Which cell phone is better? And why? Which is more important, money or happiness? Can you compare two types of foods? Or two cities? Or two countries? Which one do you prefer? Whatever the answer you will give, you will definitely get the help of comparative and superlative adjectives. My name is Noor Uzma, and today we are going to explore the mystery that is working behind the usage of comparative and superlative adjectives. Are you ready? Yes. Let's talk about the comparative adjectives first. We use comparative adjectives to show some change or make comparison. This car is certainly better. Here we are talking about the change of the condition of the car, but it isn't much more expensive. I'm feeling happier now. It means that I'm talking about the change in my mood. We need a bigger garden. Again, it reflects the change in the garden. But when we are supposed to compare two things, we use a word than, than. We use than when we want to compare one thing with the other. For example, she is 2 years older than me. New York is much bigger than Boston. He is a better player than Ronaldo. France is a bigger country than Britain. Here, two objects are being compared and we are using the word than while comparing them. Are you getting me? Good. And when we want to describe how something or someone changes, we can use two comparatives with and. Like the balloon got bigger and bigger. Everything is getting more and more expensive. Grandfather is looking older and older. You see how we are describing the change in the condition? Okay, there are many more things to discuss. Stay with us. Another aspect of comparative adjectives. We often use the with comparative adjectives to show that one thing depends on the other. The faster you drive, the more dangerous it is. It means that when you drive faster, it is more dangerous. Look at the second example. The higher they climbed, the colder it got. It means that when they climbed higher, it got colder. Got the idea? Great. Now let's talk about a little bit of superlative adjectives. Mind it, my dear students, that we use the with superlative adjectives. For example, it was the happiest day of my life. Everest is the highest mountain in the world. That's the best film I have ever seen in this year. I have three sisters. Jan is the oldest and Angelina is the youngest. Did you get that? Very good. Now let us see how to form comparative and superlative adjectives. There are certain rules that are working behind and we can just categorize them one by one. So rule number 1. We usually add ER and EST with one syllable words to make comparatives and superlatives. One syllable words means those words that are having only one vowel sound. Look at this. Old, older, oldest. Long, longer, longest. ER for comparative and EST for superlatives. Here comes rule number 2. If an adjective ends in E, we add R or EST. Means we don't need to add another ER or EST. If already E is present, so we will simply add R or ST. Look at the word nice. E is already there, so we will not put another E while making its comparative. It's simply R. Nicer, nicest. Large, larger, largest. Stay with us for other rules too. Very, very important thing. My students really get confused about this, that ma'am, how do we know that we are supposed to double the last letter? Here is the formula. Rather, I would say that the magical utterances, that it's C, we, C. C for consonant, V for vowel, and C for another consonant. C. If an adjective ends in a vowel and a consonant, we double the consonant. Like, look at the first word, big. B, consonant. I, vowel. G, consonant. If the word consists on that structure, then we will double the last letter while making its comparative and superlative degree. Bigger, biggest. Fat, CVC. Fatter, fattest. Did you know it already? Yes, you might have memorized it as such, but you didn't know the actual rule that is working behind. So memorize it. It's CVC. Let's move further. Rule number 4 is very common. Everybody knows it, that if an adjective ends in the consonant and Y, we change Y into I and add ER or EST. Just like happy, it ends at Y. So while making its comparative or superlative degree, we just turn Y into I. Happier, happiest. Silly, sillier, silliest. Now we shall talk about that how to make comparative and superlative degrees of a bigger word. These are the words having 2 or more than 2 syllables. We use more and most to make comparatives and superlatives for 2-syllable adjectives and for all the adjectives with 3 or more syllables. Look at the first word, careful. How many syllables can you find? Careful, 2 syllables. So the comparative degree will be more careful, most careful. Now look at this word. How many syllables you can guess? Interesting. 3 or 4? Do tell me in the comment box. I will check your understanding. More interesting, more interesting. Well guys, at times English turns into a little bit complex language. Though it is really very easy, but at times it gives us a little bit confusions. So there are these common 2-syllable adjectives. You can either add ER or EST, or you can add more and most. Both are acceptable. You will find them a little bit queer or a little bit strange, but it is acceptable. Like, he is certainly handsomer than his brother. You can use it this way. His brother is handsome, but he is more handsome. So handsome can be made as a comparative adjective while adding ER or while adding more with it. The same thing goes with polite. She is one of the politest, or she is the most polite person I have ever met. So here I have given you the list of certain words that are taken in either way. Exceptions, exceptions, exceptions. These are irregular comparative and superlatives. These are the adjectives that do not follow any rules, therefore we have to learn them as they are. Like good, better, best, bad, worst, worst, far, farther, farthest. There are many more. You can also find them in any grammar book, or you can Google them. And my dear, at the end, I would like to say the more you give away, the more happy you become. I have used comparative adjectives. Did you like that? Hopefully. Have a nice day. Allah Hafiz.